The massive space station floated in the darkness like a jewel. It was called Zenith Prime, and it was the home of the Galactic Council. Inside, hundreds of different alien species gathered to make decisions about the galaxy. They had ruled space for 12,000 years. They thought they knew everything about the universe. They were wrong. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. The Defiant was huge, stretching 2 million tons of metal and technology through space. Around him, his crew worked quietly. They were checking systems and preparing for something no human had ever done before. They were about to meet aliens for the first time. Lieutenant Amy Bradford sat at her station. Her hands moved over the glowing screens in front of her. She was in charge of weapons. Every gun, every missile, every defense system on the ship reported to her. "All systems are working perfectly, Commander," she said. "Weapons are turned off like you ordered. But they are ready if we need them." Jake nodded. His gray eyes stayed focused on the screen showing the space station ahead. It was getting bigger as they moved closer. "Good, let's make a good first impression." Chris opened a communication channel. Lieutenant Chris Palmer worked at the communication station. He pressed a few buttons and suddenly a voice filled the bridge. It was musical and strange, but their computer translated it into English instantly. "Unknown ship, this is Zenith Prime Traffic Control. You are entering restricted space. Tell us who you are right now or we will destroy you." Chris looked at Jake. The commander smiled slightly. "This is Commander Jake Morrison of the Earthship Defiant. We come from humanity. We want to talk to the Galactic Council." There was a long silence. When the voice came back, it sounded confused. "Earth, humanity? We have no information about your species. Send us your genetic information and technology level so we can process your request." "Sending it now," Jake said. Chris pressed more buttons. What happened next shocked everyone. The moment Earth's information reached the station's computers, every alarm started screaming. Ships that had been sitting peacefully at docking ports suddenly started their engines. Weapons that had not been used in thousands of years powered up and pointed at the Defiant. Amy looked up sharply. "Commander, they are targeting us. 16 weapons platforms and 47 ships. More are joining them." Jake stayed calm. "Hold our position. Do not fire back." "Chris, what is happening?" Chris pressed his hand to his ear, listening carefully. "Sir, they are calling us Death Worlders. They say our genetic structure is impossible. They say nothing from a Class 12 Death World should be able to build spaceships." "Class 12? Jake asked. A new voice spoke. Dr. Lisa Hayes had just arrived on the bridge. She was the ship's expert on alien biology. That means a planet so dangerous that complex life should not be able to exist there. High gravity, terrible weather, lots of predators, constant earthquakes and volcanoes. It is the highest danger rating they have." Jake smiled a little. "Sounds like Earth to me." The main screen changed. Now they could see inside the council chamber. Hundreds of alien faces stared back at them. Most looked scared or shocked. Their computer tried to translate the expressions but had trouble. A tall alien made of crystal stepped forward. "I am High Counselor Vexnar. Your presence here breaks our protocols. Species from Death Worlds must be kept isolated. We watch them from far away. How did you find our observation satellites?" "We did not break anything," Jake replied calmly. "Your satellites were easy to spot once we reached orbit. We just chose to stay hidden from them." Shock rippled through the council chamber. "Impossible," Vexnar said. His voice shook a little. "Our stealth technology is the best in the galaxy." Jake made a gesture. Chris brought up a display showing exactly where every observation satellite was. The ones that had been watching Earth for the past 100 years. "Your technology is good, Counselor. But you have been watching a species that evolved in constant danger." "We got very good at spotting threats," another alien spoke. This one looked like a floating jellyfish with glowing colors. "You talk about danger. Your genetic data shows you are predators. You are hunters." "We were," Jake said. "Now we are explorers. Scientists, engineers. We came to share knowledge and make peace." "With a warship?" The jellyfish's colors turned red. "This is a patrol vessel," Jake corrected. "Not a warship." Nervous laughter echoed through the council chamber. Vexnar's crystal body seemed to get darker. "Commander Morrison, your ship weighs 2 million tons. Its power systems could run a small city. Our sensors show weapons covering 60% of your hull. If this is a patrol vessel, what do your actual warships look like?" Jake looked at Amy. She nodded slightly. The truth would come out anyway. "Counselor Vexnar, The Defiant is designed to work alone in deep space for up to 5 years. It needs to be self-sufficient. As for weapons, space is dangerous. We have faced things that needed serious firepower to handle. Things? Vexnar repeated. What things need weapons that could crack a small moon? Lisa stepped forward. Rogue asteroids. Unstable space anomalies. Once a creature that lived near a black hole. The universe is not always friendly, Counselor. The council chamber exploded with noise. Aliens argued in dozens of languages. The computer could not keep up with translating. Jake heard certain words repeated over and over. Deathworlders, monsters, threat. Finally, Vexnar raised an appendage for silence. Commander Morrison, the council will discuss your request. Until then, you will stay where you are. Any movement toward our station will be considered an act of war. The transmission ended. Amy stood up from her station. Concern showed on her face. Commander, they are terrified of us. Yes, Jake agreed quietly. They are. Chris, open a secure channel back to Earth. Command needs to know about this. And someone get me every file we have on Galactic Council military capabilities. If this goes wrong, I want to know what we are facing. His crew moved to their tasks. Jake stayed at the screen, watching the distant space station. Humanity had reached for the stars hoping to find friends. Instead, they had found a galaxy that saw them as monsters from nightmares. The question now was whether fear would lead to understanding or to war. Jake hoped for understanding, but he prepared for war. That was the human way. Always hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. In the distance, Zenith Prime's lights glowed against the darkness of space. Inside, hundreds of species debated what to do about the humans. They had never encountered anything like this before. A species from hell itself, now knocking on their door and asking to be friends. The galaxy would never be the same. 3 days passed. The Defiant stayed in the same spot while council ships circled at a safe distance. Jake had tried to communicate twice more. Each time he got bureaucratic delays and hidden threats. The council could not decide if humanity was a potential friend or an enemy that needed to be destroyed. Then something happened that made the decision for them. On the 4th day, Amy's tactical console lit up with warnings. Commander, I am detecting weapons fire. Sector 7 near the Eric system. Jake was beside her instantly. Council ships? No, sir. The energy signatures are different. I am analyzing now. She paused. Her face went pale. Sir, those are Krell ships. The entire bridge went silent. Everyone had learned about the Krell in the past few days. They were the galaxy's nightmare. Ruthless raiders who appeared without warning, destroyed everything they found, and vanished before anyone could fight back. The council had been fighting them for 3,000 years without winning. How many ships? Jake asked. 43 Krell vessels. They are attacking a civilian convoy. 8 cargo ships and 2 escorts. Amy's voice got tight. The escorts are already destroyed. The cargo ships have no defenses. Dr. Lisa Hayes was on the bridge again. She had spent 3 days trying to help humans and aliens understand each other. Commander, the Eric system has 4 billion people living there. If the Krell break through to the inner planets? Jake was already moving. Battle stations. Engineering, give me full power to engines and weapons. Amy, plot a course to intercept. Sir, Chris interrupted. The council's orders were clear. Any movement toward their space would be an act of war. Those ships are going to die if we do not help, Jake said firmly. Chris, tell the council what is happening and what we are doing. Make it clear we are responding to a distress call, not attacking them. The Defiant came alive. All 2 million tons of it. Systems that had been resting roared to full power. The massive engines pushed the ship forward at speeds that would kill most alien species. Human evolution in Earth's crushing gravity had given them one gift. They could handle forces that would turn other beings into paste. Entering weapons range in 90 seconds, Amy reported. I am reading the convoy's distress calls now. They are begging for help. The council's nearest fleet is 20 minutes away. Those people do not have 20 minutes, Jake said. Amy, give me targeting solutions. I want those Krell ships disabled, not destroyed. We are here to save lives, not take them. Yes, sir. Though I should mention our weapons are designed to punch through heavy armor. Disabling shots will be difficult. Then be precise. The Defiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel right between the Krell raiders and the fleeing convoy. For a moment, nobody moved. The Krell ships looked like giant insects covered in armor and biological weapons. They seemed frozen in confusion. Their prey had been helpless civilians. Now they faced something they had never seen before, a human warship. The Krell recovered first. Their ship swarmed toward the Defiant with perfect coordination. Energy weapons and biological projectiles filled the space between them. Shields holding, Amy reported calmly. Their weapons are barely scratching us. Returning fire. The Defiant's response was surgical and precise. Magnetic accelerator cannons fired projectiles at nearly the speed of light. They found their targets with perfect accuracy. Krell engines exploded. Weapon ports were torn away. In 15 seconds, Amy had disabled 12 enemy vessels without destroying a single one. The remaining Krell changed tactics immediately. They scattered, trying to surround the Defiant and attack from all sides at once. It did not help. Lieutenant Karen Wright at the helm spun the massive warship with an agility that should have been impossible. Amy's targeting computer tracked every enemy ship at the same time. The Defiant became a whirlwind of controlled violence. Each shot was carefully calculated to disable rather than kill. Within 3 minutes, the battle was over. 43 Krell ships drifted in space. Their engines were dead. Their weapons were offline. Their crews were alive but trapped. "Scan the convoy," Jake ordered. "Any casualties?" Chris checked his displays. 2 cargo ships took minor damage, but all crew members are alive. "They are hailing us, sir. They want to thank us. Tell them they are welcome, and tell them to leave before the Krell can repair their ships." Jake turned to Amy. "How long until those ships can fix themselves?" "At least 6 hours, given the damage we caused. Maybe longer." "Good. That gives the Council time to send a capture team." Jake walked back to his command chair. He suddenly noticed how quiet his bridge had become. "What is it?" Lisa was staring at her console. "Commander, do you realize what we just did? 43 Krell ships. The same Krell that the entire Council has been fighting for 3,000 years. We disabled them all in 3 minutes. They attacked civilians," Jake said simply. "What else were we supposed to do?" Before anyone could answer, the main screen flickered to life. High Counselor Vexnar appeared. His crystal body pulsed with colors that meant shock and awe. "Commander Morrison," he said slowly, "we monitored your engagement." "How did you do that?" "The Krell are the most dangerous military force in known space. They have destroyed entire Council fleets. Yet you disabled 43 of their ships in less time than it takes us to launch a single fighter squadron." Jake thought carefully about his answer. "Counselor, humanity has been at war with itself for most of our history. We have had 10,000 years to perfect combat. When we finally reached the stars, we brought that knowledge with us, not because we wanted to fight, but because we wanted to be ready if we had to." "War with yourselves?" Another Council member spoke, a reptilian being named Kessenik. "You fought your own species?" "For resources, for territory, for beliefs and religions and things that seem silly now," Jake admitted, "but we learned from it. We grew beyond it. The last global war on Earth ended over 200 years ago. We have been at peace since then. A species that evolved through constant war now claiming to want peace," Vexnar said. "And we should believe this." "You do not have to believe anything," Jake replied. "But those 8 cargo ships you just watched us save. Ask their crews what they believe. We could have destroyed the Krell ships. We chose not to. That should tell you something about who humanity is now." The Council chamber filled with urgent discussions again. Finally, Vexnar spoke once more. "Commander Morrison, the Council requests your presence at Zenith Prime for formal negotiations. We also request detailed information about your engagement with the Krell. If you truly wish to join the galactic community, you must be open with us." Jake nodded slowly. "We will provide full sensor logs of the battle, and I will be happy to meet with the Council in person. But Counselor, I have a request of my own." "What is it?" "Those 43 Krell ships are still out there. Disabled but repairable. I recommend you send a capture team immediately. Study their technology. Question their crews. Learn from them. Because if 43 ships could strike this deep into Council space, there are probably hundreds more where they came from." Vexnar's colors shifted to something the computer could not translate. "You would share tactical intelligence with us? Even though we treated you with suspicion and hostility? Counselor, there is an old human saying, 'The enemy of my enemy is my friend.'" Jake smiled slightly. "Besides, we are all going to have to work together eventually. We might as well start now." As the transmission ended, Amy leaned close to Jake. "Sir, did we just volunteer humanity to fight the Council's war?" "No," Jake said quietly. We just showed them they do not have to be afraid anymore. At least not of us. The council chamber was impressive. Jake stood in the center of a sphere where hundreds of species floated, sat or stood on platforms designed for their different bodies. The air was carefully mixed to keep most alien life alive, though Jake noticed his guard wore a breathing device. The guard was a nervous insect-like alien who kept a safe distance. High Counselor Vexnar towered over everyone on a raised platform. Commander Morrison, you stand before the Galactic Council to answer for your species entering our space without permission. What do you say? I do not need to say anything, Counselor, Jake said calmly. Humanity committed no crime. We watched your civilization like you asked in your old rules. When we felt ready, we came openly and peacefully. The fact that you did not expect a Death World species to reach space is not our fault. Whispers rippled through the chamber. Few species spoke to the Council this directly. A floating being made of liquid metal spoke next. Your ship is more powerful than our best warships. You destroyed a Krell raiding party that would need 3 Council fleets to stop. Yet you claim to come in peace. I do claim that, Jake confirmed. And I proved it by disabling those Krell ships instead of destroying them. Every crew member survived. Can the Council say the same about their fights with the Krell? The chamber fell silent. Everyone knew the answer was no. Kesnick, the reptilian counselor, stood from his platform. Commander, we analyzed the data you gave us. Your ship's weapons work on principles we do not understand. Your shields absorbed firepower that should have been devastating. Your engines push your vessel at forces that would kill any known species. You are either hiding technology far beyond ours or we are just different, Jake finished. Counselor, may I ask a question? What is the average gravity on Council member homeworlds? Vexnar's crystal body pulsed with confusion. Approximately 0.6 standard units. Why does this matter? Earth's gravity is 1.7 standard units, Jake said. We evolved in nearly 3 times the gravity you consider normal. Every human on my ship is wearing a gravity compensator just to move comfortably in your station. Without them, we would barely notice the difference. He could see understanding spreading through the chamber. Our bones are denser. Our muscles are stronger. Our hearts and lungs work better, Jake continued. And our brains developed under constant pressure to survive in an environment that tried to kill us every day. We did not build better weapons because we are violent. We built them because we needed them to survive. Dr. Lisa Hayes stood beside Jake as Earth's scientific representative. She added, Counselors, I have been reviewing your biological databases. The average death world in Council records is classified at Class 6 or below. Earth is a Class 12. Do you know what that means? That your planet is impossibly hostile, the liquid metal being said. It means we have storms that can level cities, earthquakes that reshape continents, ocean currents that carry more energy than your entire civilization uses, predators that can kill a human in seconds, diseases that change faster than we can cure them, and an atmosphere so rich with oxygen that it would poison most of you. Lisa pulled up a holographic image showing Earth. We did not conquer our planet, Counselors. We survived it. And in surviving, we became something the galaxy has never seen before. Not monsters, just really, really good survivors. Vexnar was silent for a long moment. If what you say is true, then humanity represents something new in our understanding of what life can achieve. But it raises a question. If you are so powerful, why should we trust you? Jake had been waiting for this. Because power without control is tyranny, Counselor. Let me tell you about humanity's history. For the next hour, Jake and Lisa presented human civilization to the Council. They did not hide the wars, the killing, the mistakes. They showed the Council the worst of what humanity had been, and then they showed what humanity had become. 247 years ago, Jake said, the last shots of Earth's final global war were fired. After that, facing possible extinction from our own weapons, humanity made a choice. We decided that survival meant working together, that our differences made us stronger, that the same drive that led us to war could take us to the stars. Lisa brought up images of Earth's cities, its space stations, its exploration ships. We built the Defiant not as a weapon of conquest, but as protection. We knew space was dangerous. We just did not know how dangerous until we found evidence of the Krell 3 years ago in an abandoned outpost. That caused shock in the Council. You encountered the Krell before? Kesnick demanded. Once, Jake confirmed. A small scouting force investigating our outer colonies. We drove them away, captured 2 of their ships, and have been studying them since. That is how we knew their tactics during our recent fight. We have been preparing for a second encounter. Vexnar's colors changed rapidly. You captured Krell ships? Intact? 2 corvettes, yes. Our scientists have been trying to communicate with the crews. So far unsuccessful, but we are learning. Jake paused. Counselors, we are willing to share everything we learned about the Krell. Their biology, their technology, their tactics. No conditions. Consider it a gesture of good faith. In exchange for what? The liquid metal being asked suspiciously. Nothing, Lisa said. We share because that is what civilized species do. We help each other survive. The council chamber erupted in debate. Some species argued for accepting humanity immediately. Others demanded that Earth be isolated. Still others suggested that humanity's military power made them the perfect weapon against the Krell, if only they could be controlled. Jake listened with growing concern. Finally, he raised his voice. Counselors, if I may. The chamber quieted. You are debating whether we are a threat or a tool. You are missing a third option. We could be partners. Jake looked around at the assembled species. For 3,000 years, you have fought the Krell to a draw. They raid your worlds, kill your people, and vanish before you can respond. You have adapted to defending because you cannot match their aggression. And you can? Vexnar challenged. We can match it, Jake admitted, but we do not want to. Counselors, humanity did not reach the stars to become the galaxy's soldiers. We came to explore, to learn, to grow. If you try to make us into weapons, you will lose the one thing we really want to offer you. Which is? Kessenik asked. Hope, Lisa said softly. The hope that the Krell can be stopped. That your children might grow up in a galaxy where they do not have to be afraid. That civilization can be more than just survival. Jake nodded. Let us join the council as equals. Let us share our knowledge freely. And let us stand together against the darkness. Not because you forced us to, but because it is the right thing to do. Vexnar was silent for a long time. Finally, he spoke. The council will discuss your proposal, Commander Morrison. But I will tell you this. You have given us much to think about. A species that evolved in hell itself now offering us hope. The irony is not lost on us. Counselor, Jake said with a slight smile, humanity learned long ago that the best response to hell is to build something better. We are hoping the galaxy will help us do that. The chamber remained quiet after Jake and Lisa left. The council had a difficult decision to make. Accept the humans and gain powerful allies, or reject them and possibly create powerful enemies. Either way, the galaxy was changing, and there was no going back. While the council debated, Jake and his crew were given limited access to Zenith Prime's civilian areas. It was meant to be friendly, but Jake knew the truth. It was a chance for the council to watch humans interact with other species. Lieutenant, Amy Bradford walked with Jake through one of the station's massive market districts. Thousands of species traded goods from across the galaxy. Everywhere they walked, crowds moved aside. Some aliens stared with curiosity. Others backed away in fear. They are treating us like dangerous animals, Amy muttered, watching a group of small, furry creatures scatter as they approached. Can you blame them? Jake replied quietly. To them, we are the monsters from nightmares, the things that should not exist. They stopped at a vendor selling biological data crystals. The vendor looked like an upright crab. It nervously offered them a sample. No charge, the vendor said in broken galactic common, for the ones who saved the Eric's convoy. Jake accepted the crystal with a nod of thanks. You heard about that? Everyone heard, the vendor replied. First time in 3,000 years the Krell ran away without killing anyone. You gave them fear. Good. As they walked away, Amy said, Did you hear that? They are grateful we scared the Krell. Fear is a weapon, Jake acknowledged. The question is whether we use it to protect or to threaten. Their conversation was interrupted by an urgent call from the Defiant. Chris's voice came through Jake's communicator. Commander, you need to return to the ship immediately. We detected something. Jake and Amy were back aboard the Defiant within 15 minutes. The bridge was busy with activity. Report, Jake ordered, sliding into his command chair. Chris brought up the main screen showing a star map. Sir, we have been monitoring subspace communications like you ordered. 30 minutes ago, we intercepted a heavily encrypted transmission from deep space. It took our AI 20 minutes to crack it. He paused. Sir, it is a Krell fleet, and it is massive. The display zoomed out, revealing hundreds of contact markers moving toward Council space from multiple directions. How many ships? Jake asked, though he knew the answer would be bad. At least 400, Amy said from Tactical. Possibly more. They are using stealth technology that makes accurate counts difficult. But Commander, this is not a raiding party. This is an invasion force. Dr. Lisa Hayes studied the tactical display carefully. Their approach vectors are coordinated. They are planning to hit multiple systems at the same time. The Council will not have time to mount an effective defense. Where is the nearest target? Jake demanded. Chris highlighted a star system on the edge of Council space. The Valar system. Population 7 billion. The Krell fleet will arrive there in approximately 18 hours. Jake was already calculating. How many Council ships can reach Valar in time? According to the communications we are monitoring, Chris said, maybe 30 vessels. They are scrambling everything they have, but their fleets are spread too thin. 30 ships against 400. Amy shook her head. It will be a massacre. Jake stood pacing the bridge as he thought. Finally, he turned to his crew. Chris, open a channel to High Counselor Vexnar. Priority 1. The transmission connected almost immediately. Vexnar's crystal body appeared on the screen. Jake could see stress in his color patterns. Commander Morrison, I assume you detected the Krell fleet. We have, Jake confirmed. Counselor, my sensors show you have approximately 30 ships heading to Valar. Against a force of 400, they will not survive. I know that, Vexnar said quietly. But we cannot abandon 7 billion people without trying. The ships we have will buy time for an evacuation. And then what? Jake challenged. The Krell hit the next system and the next until they have carved through your entire civilization? What would you have us do, Commander? We are mobilizing every available vessel, but our fleet is simply too spread out. This is what the Krell do. They strike where we are weakest. Jake took a breath. Counselor, the Defiant can reach the Valar system in 12 hours. We can hold the line until your reinforcements arrive. The council chamber behind Vexnar erupted in noise. Dozens of voices shouted over each other. The High Counselor raised an appendage for silence. Commander Morrison, are you suggesting that one human ship can delay 400 Krell vessels? Not delay, Jake corrected. Defeat. The silence that followed was complete. That is impossible, Kessenik said, pushing into view beside Vexnar. No single ship could survive such odds. Your ships could not, Jake agreed. But the Defiant is not one of your ships. We are faster, tougher, and we hit harder than anything the Krell have faced. More importantly, we know their tactics. We studied their technology. And we have no intention of letting 7 billion people die while we debate politics. Vexnar's colors shifted rapidly. If you fail, humanity's first contact with the galaxy ends in disaster. Earth loses its only deep space warship. Is that a risk you are willing to take? Jake smiled grimly. Counselor, there is something you should know about humans. We are not just good at surviving. We are stubborn, and we really do not like bullies. The Krell have been terrorizing this galaxy for 3,000 years. I think it is time someone terrorized them back. You are insane, the liquid metal counselor said flatly. Probably, Jake admitted, but I am also right. Lisa, show them. Dr. Hayes brought up a tactical simulation. We have been running combat scenarios since we learned about the Krell threat. Our AI analyzed every recorded engagement over the past 1,000 years. We identified 47 critical weaknesses in Krell fleet tactics. Their strength comes from overwhelming numbers and fear. Take those away and they are actually quite predictable. You are basing this on simulations, Vexnar said. Theory, not practice. We are basing it on 300 years of human military knowledge, Jake corrected. Every battle we ever fought, every war we won or lost, taught us something. And we had a lot of wars. The knowledge does not disappear just because we stopped fighting each other. Amy added, Sir, if I may, our weapons are designed to engage multiple targets at extreme range. The Krell rely on close-range swarming tactics. They will try to surround us, but we can hit them from distances they cannot even detect. We pick them off one by one before they get close. And if they do get close, Kesenic demanded. Then we show them why you do not pick fights with Deathworlders, Amy said with a cold smile. Vexnar looked between his fellow counselors, then back to Jake. Commander Morrison, I cannot officially authorize this. The Council has not yet accepted humanity as members. If you proceed, you do so without our permission. Understood, Jake said. But Counselor, when those 7 billion people are still alive tomorrow, the Council might want to reconsider our membership application. You are going anyway, Vexnar said. It was not a question. Yes. The High Counselor's colors shifted to something that might have been respect. Then go. And Commander, do not make us regret trusting you. The transmission ended. Jake turned to his crew. You heard him. Karen, plot a course to Valar, maximum speed. Amy, check every weapon system. Lisa, pull up everything we know about Krell fleet formations. Chris, send a message to Earth Command, tell them what we are about to do. And if they order us to stand down, Chris asked. Jake smiled. Then tell them the message got lost in transmission. We will apologize later if we survive. As the Defiant's engines roared to life, Jake settled into his command chair. His crew worked with quiet efficiency. They were about to face odds that would terrify any commander. But humans were not known for being entirely sane. They were known for doing what needed to be done. The Defiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Valar system. The threat was immediately clear. 417 Krell ships spread across space in a formation designed to create maximum terror, a vast predatory swarm advancing on the inhabited worlds with careful precision. They know we are here, Amy reported, studying her tactical display. The entire fleet just changed formation. They are turning toward us. Jake watched the enemy ships wheel about like a school of hunting fish sensing new prey. Good, that means they are not focused on Valar anymore. Broadcast on all frequencies, Galactic Common and Krell languages. Chris nodded. Channel open, sir. Krell Fleet, this is Commander Jake Morrison of the Earth warship Defiant. You are violating Galactic Council territory. Withdraw immediately or face destruction. For a long moment, there was no response. Then a harsh clicking sound filled the bridge. The translation AI struggled before producing words. Human, we have studied you. One ship. 417 of ours. Your bravery is noted. Your death will be swift. Is that their idea of mercy? Chris muttered. Jake leaned forward. Krell Commander, let me tell you about humanity. We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us every single day. Predators, diseases, disasters. We survived them all. You are just another problem to solve. Another pause. Then the reply came. You cannot defeat us. Leave now and we will let you flee. Counter-proposal, Jake said. You leave now and I will not have to explain to the galaxy how one human ship destroyed your entire invasion force. The Krell response was to open fire. Hundreds of bioweapons and energy beams lanced across space toward the Defiant. Shields holding at 97%, Amy reported calmly. Their weapons are even weaker than the raiding party we fought. Then let us show them what real firepower looks like, Jake ordered. Amy, weapons free. Karen, evasive pattern Delta 7. Make us hard to hit. What happened next would be studied for generations. The Defiant did not fight like a council ship, maintaining distance and trading fire carefully. It fought like a shark among small fish, diving into the Krell formation with impossible speed. Karen Wright's piloting pushed the ship through maneuvers that would have torn apart vessels built to gentler standards. Amy's targeting was surgical. The Defiant's magnetic accelerator cannons fired projectiles at near light speed. They punched through Krell armor like paper. Point defense lasers tracked and destroyed incoming projectiles with 98% accuracy. When Krell ships tried to close for boarding, they encountered weapons that did not just disable but annihilated. 30 ships destroyed, Amy reported steadily. 64 disabled. The rest are scattering, but the Krell were not retreating. They were adapting. They are using their destroyed ships as cover, Lisa observed, hiding behind the wreckage to mask their approach. Clever, Jake acknowledged. Amy switched to proximity detonation rounds. I want a field of shrapnel between us and that wreckage. The Defiant's cannons fired again, this time launching rounds that exploded into clouds of hypersonic fragments. Krell ships trying to use debris for cover found themselves shredded by the very protection they sought. Hours passed. The battle became brutal mathematics. For every Krell ship destroyed, 2 more pressed the attack. They were learning, changing their tactics in real time. The swarm broke apart into smaller, more agile units. They stopped trying to overwhelm with numbers and instead attempted precision strikes at critical systems. Shields down to 40%, Amy reported. They figured out our defensive frequency and are concentrating fire. Rotate shield harmonics, Jake ordered. And return fire on any ship that scores a hit. Show them there is a price for success. Dr. Hayes was monitoring something else. Commander, I am detecting unusual readings from the Krell ships. Biological signatures are spiking. I think they are afraid. Afraid? Chris asked. They are still attacking. Yes, but not because they want to, Lisa explained. Their formation is breaking down. Individual ships are trying to retreat, but others are forcing them back. There is some kind of control hierarchy at work. Jake saw the opportunity. Can you identify the command ship? Lisa's fingers worked quickly. They're the largest vessel in their formation. It is transmitting constant control signals to the rest of the fleet. Amy, all weapons on that ship. I want it disabled, not destroyed. Sir, that will take everything we have. We will be vulnerable. Do it. The Defiant's entire armament turned on the Krell command ship. Magnetic accelerator cannons, particle beams, missile salvos. Everything fired in one concentrated barrage. The command ship's shields held for 3 seconds before collapsing. Precision strikes took out its engines, weapons, and communication arrays, leaving it drifting helpless. The effect on the Krell fleet was immediate and dramatic. Without the command ship's controlling presence, individual ships began making their own decisions. And those decisions were all the same: retreat. They are running, Chris said in disbelief. The entire fleet is breaking off. Not running, Lisa corrected, studying her displays. They are terrified. Their biological readings are extreme. Whatever their command ship was doing to keep them fighting is gone. Now they are panicking. Jake watched the Krell ships scatter in all directions. Some fled so frantically they collided with each other. Broadcast again, Chris. All Krell ships have 1 minute to clear this system or face destruction. The retreat became a rout. Within 30 seconds, the surviving Krell vessels engaged their faster-than-light drives and vanished. The Defiant hung alone in space, surrounded by the wreckage of over 200 enemy ships. Damage report, Jake ordered, suddenly aware of how tired he felt. Amy checked her systems. Shields down to 22% and regenerating. Hull breaches on decks 7 and 12 already sealed. No casualties. Minor damage to the port engine. We are still combat capable, sir. The Council fleet is arriving, Chris reported. 37 ships. They are hailing us. Put them through. High Counselor Vexnar appeared on the screen. His crystal body showed colors that the AI easily translated. Pure astonishment. Commander Morrison, he said slowly, our sensors show over 200 Krell ships destroyed or disabled. The invasion fleet has retreated. How did you do this? Jake shrugged, wincing as bruised muscles protested. We told you, Counselor. Humanity has been preparing for this fight for a long time. The Krell were terrifying because nobody had ever fought back hard enough to scare them. We changed that. You did more than that, Vexnar said. You proved that the Krell can be beaten. That they can feel fear just like any other species. Commander, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I formally request that humanity accept membership. We need you. Not as weapons, Jake said firmly. As partners, equals. As partners, Vexnar agreed. And perhaps as teachers, because humanity has clearly learned lessons about survival that the rest of the galaxy desperately needs. Jake looked around his bridge at his exhausted crew. Amy Bradford, whose hands still rested on her weapons controls. Karen Wright, who had piloted them through impossible maneuvers. Chris Palmer, who had kept them connected throughout. Lisa Hayes, whose insights had identified their winning strategy. Counselor, Jake said finally, there is one more thing you need to understand about humanity. We do not just survive. We help others survive too. If we join your council, we are going to ask difficult questions. We are going to push for change. We are going to make you uncomfortable sometimes. I would expect nothing less from a Death World species, Vexnar replied. His color shifted to something that might have been amusement. Welcome to the galactic community, Commander Morrison. Something tells me things are about to get very interesting. As the transmission ended and council ships moved in to secure the battlefield, Jake allowed himself a small smile. humanity had come to the stars seeking friends and allies. Instead, they had found a galaxy that needed heroes. It was not the first time humans had been cast in that role, and if history was any guide, it would not be the last. Set course for Zenith Prime, Jake ordered. Let us go introduce ourselves properly to the galaxy, and someone get me a status report on those captured Krell ships. If we are going to be the Council's partners, we might as well start sharing knowledge. The Defiant turned toward the heart of civilized space, carrying humanity's message, that fear could be conquered, that survival was possible, and that sometimes the monsters from the darkness turned out to be exactly what the galaxy needed. In the wreckage behind them, disabled Krell crews huddled in their damaged ships. For the first time in their species' history, they experienced something they had inflicted on countless others. They learned what it meant to be afraid. And in learning that lesson, the galaxy discovered what humanity truly was. Not monsters to be feared, but guardians who would stand between civilization and darkness, asking nothing in return but the chance to build something better among the stars. The age of human isolation was over. The age of human partnership had begun, and the galaxy would never be the same.